Today we have the all-new BMW M2. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably already know what the M2 is. The formula is pretty simple. Compact dimensions, powerful inline 6-cylinder engine, nearly 50-50 weight distribution, manual gearbox and rear-wheel drive. In 2022, BMW revealed a second generation of high-performance coupe. And just like with every new BMW product, the design was a main topic of controversy. Many describe it as a Minecraft car due to its squared elements, but BMW will tell you it has retro touches, and I can tell you that in person, it looks much better than it does in pictures. But I'm always of the opinion that the design is secondary, maybe because I have a terrible taste, so let's talk about what really matters here, the performance. Under the hood sits the S58 engine, a 3-liter single-turbo straight-six. With 453 horsepower, the engine in the new M2 outguns the unit in its predecessor by 48 horsepower. The peak torque of 406 pound-feet is produced between 2650 and 5870 RPM, and the motor revs up to 7200 revolutions. You can either choose a 6-speed manual gearbox or an 8-speed M-Steptronic transmission with adjustable shift programs. In either case, the engine's power is fed to the road in traditional fashion via the rear wheels. Compared to the regular 2 Series, the M2 received enhanced cooling and oil supply systems, as well as an active M differential that works together with the DSC system and can generate a locking effect of up to 100%. The suspension also has been re-engineered and we get standard adaptive dampers, all creating a track-capable vehicle. Now, before we talk how it all works together, let's jump inside the M2 and talk about the interior space. Stepping inside the M2, you see a typical BMW interior. Pretty simple, with a driver-focused cockpit, low seating position, decent quality materials and plenty of space for the front seat riders. Now, following current trends, the designers took a minimalistic approach to declutter the interior. We lost the physical HVAC controls or programmable buttons that BMWs were known for, but on the bright side, the new iDrive 8 infotainment system is intuitive and comes with a controller and shortcut buttons for commonly used functions. One thing that I can get over though is the gauge cluster. BMW used to make one of the most beautiful gauges, simplistic in their nature, and what we get now is, well, I'll just leave it there. The optional carbon bucket seats may not look comfortable at first, but they are phenomenal. And while the front seats provide amazing support and shockingly decent comfort, I cannot say the same about the back seat, which is cramped. Alright, so that was the interior of the new M2. Let's get it on the road now and see how it drives. Now that we're behind the wheel of the M2, let's split driving impressions into everyday use and more spirited driving. As a daily, the M2 is excellent. You get a lot of low-end torque, which is useful for everyday driving. The suspension, while being stiff, is not stiff to the point where you're gonna hate your life, and it does a good job with soaking up road imperfections in comfort mode. The clutch is easy to operate and you get a great set of driver assistance features which are not intrusive and work very well. Now, I haven't had a chance to drive the M2 on a racetrack, but I took it on my favorite back road, which is pretty demanding. First, the acceleration of the line is fantastic. After a hint of turbo lag, the engine delivers power in linear fashion, typical for M products, revving up to 7200 revolutions. Shifting through gears is fine. The 6-speed gearbox requires more attention and precision than I expected, and there are times where it was hard to shift into second. It's not the first time I experienced this with BMW 6-speed, but to be fair, press cars, especially the performance ones, go through hell. The steering is good, not great. BMW has come a long way with their electric power steering and it's miles ahead of its first iteration, but it still feels numb and muted compared to the good old hydraulic setup. The responsiveness, however, is satisfying and you can position the M2 accurately. Overall, the new M2 is balanced and the chassis doesn't seem to be overwhelmed with engine's power. Even though the body roll exists, it's not necessarily noticeable and you get a great sense of stability. On top of that, adjustable DSC modes help you control the amount of help you get from the computer, and if you're brave enough, you can turn all the nannies off. I'm not gonna lie though, the new M2 shares the same problem as many other modern sports cars. They just don't feel as raw as they used to. And yes, while a lot of NVH and other things are reduced for driving comfort and versatility, we unfortunately get sense of isolation. With the M2, it's hard to tell when the car reaches the limit. There are no signs of understeer or oversteer, and when this happens, it might be too late to correct it, so I'll leave you with that before we jump to the conclusion. The BMW M2 isn't perfect. There's a synthetic feel that isn't entirely admirable and it doesn't feel as connected to the road as I would like to, but looking at where the car industry is going, we should be grateful that we can still get a relatively small, powerful car with a 6-cylinder engine and a manual transmission. Pricing starts at $63,200 and my tester, equipped with a carbon package which includes carbon fiber roof, interior trim and front bucket seats wrapped in merino leather, was priced at roughly 75 grand. If you have any questions about the M2, feel free to drop a comment and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks so much for watching and I'll catch you later.